Forget haunted houses and abandoned asylums. In today's explainer, we are jumping straight into the psychological mechanics of fear. We're going to examine 3 real, fully documented encounters to figure out exactly what happens when our normal, everyday spaces, the places we trust the most, suddenly become terrifying.
Take a second. Seriously, look around. Is your door locked right now? Are your windows shut? We all walk around with this baseline assumption of safety when we're going about our daily routines. But as we're about to see, it is absolutely astounding how quickly that illusion of security can shatter into a million pieces. Part 1. The illusion of safety.
Okay, let's dive into our first account. We're looking at a 16-year-old girl named Sarah living in India. Think about the most mundane autopilot routine you have. Getting ready for school in the morning. Now, contrast that with a chilling reality. Looking out your window and finding a complete stranger standing in the street, staring silently into your neighborhood bushes. Story 1. The Observer. So picture this. Sarah lives with her parents and 2 older brothers in this really quiet neighborhood. Just a handful of 2-story houses. It's a foggy winter morning. She's in the bathroom, just brushing her teeth, completely unaware that her reality is about to tilt on its axis. Her older brother, Allie, suddenly walks in and drops this unbelievable line. Want to see a ghost? Come here. He leads her to the window, points down at the main road in front of their house, and what they see is deeply unsettling. There's a man standing dead center in the streets. The winter fog that morning was thick, like soup thick. Visibility was basically zero. But cutting right through that haze, Sarah could see this man. He was wearing white pajamas, a light brown kurta, and this off-white shawl draped over him all the way down to his knees. The shawl covered almost everything, except for his eyes, and this wide, totally unnatural, unblinking grin. Now, life doesn't stop, right? Sarah still has to leave her college. So she hops on the back of her other brother Assad's scooter. As they drive right past this man, Sarah makes direct eye contact with him. A total shiver runs down her spine, and it prompts this terrifying internal thought. Is he smiling at me, or is he smiling at something in the bushes? Because he never moved his body, he was just dead fixated on the dense trees to the left of their house. It's a textbook example of the uncanny valley effect. When something looks human but behaves in a way that feels fundamentally wrong, our brains sound a primal alarm. And here is where this goes from creepy to absolutely mind-boggling. Think about the sheer, inexplicable endurance here. Sarah spots him in the morning. She goes to college, kind of forgets about it, takes a taxi home at 3 p.m., and he is still there, in the exact same spot. She goes inside, eats, sleeps, and wakes up at 10 p.m. when her dad gets home. Her dad confirms the man is still out there. This guy had been standing in the freezing winter cold for over 14 hours, staring at the exact same spot without moving a single muscle. Sarah's dad actually goes outside and confronts the guy, and gets absolutely nothing. Crickets. The man completely ignored him. That night, you better believe the family double-locked every single door and window in that house. And the next morning, he was just gone. It leaves us with these chilling, unanswered questions. Why was he there? What on earth was he staring at? It's the ultimate unresolved threat. Story 2. The Stranger. All right, shifting gears from a quiet street to a super public place. Once again, the contrast is incredible. The setting is something we've all done. A completely boring trip to a Kohl's department store with mom. We rely on the unwritten rules of public spaces to feel safe, right? We expect people to just mind their own business. But that mundane setting shatters the second someone breaks those rules. For our narrator, who was just a young kid at the time, getting bored and wandering off into the clothing racks quickly morphed into an uncanny nightmare. A woman in all black who began silently stalking them through the store. She was dressed head to toe in black with this long, dark hair. But it was her face that caused instant, freezing panic. Her eyes were wide open, like so wide it looked entirely unnatural. She had black eyeliner heavily streaked down her face. And as this terrified kid tried to find their mom, they turned around to see this woman closing in, wearing a deeply creepy, unsettling smile. The kid dives into the clothing racks, literally paralyzed with fear, until suddenly, a hand grabs their shoulder. It's mom. A massive wave of relief washes over the narrator, but that relief vanishes instantly. The mother's face is deadly serious. She asks her child, "Did you just see a woman with long black hair and wide eyes?" The mom had spotted the stalker too.
It wasn't just a child's overactive imagination. This threat was 100% real.
Story 3. The Invader.
Fast forward to 2024, South Africa. A mom named Zama and her 9-year-old daughter Coco are fast asleep in their second-floor apartment. Most of us assume that being elevated off the ground floor just naturally provides a built-in layer of security, right? You lock the front door, turn off the lights, and surrender to sleep, trusting the physical barriers of your home. It's the ultimate sanctuary illusion. We really want to believe our homes are impenetrable fortresses. But at exactly 2:30 in the morning, that trust is completely violated. Zama, who says she's a very light sleeper, suddenly wakes up in the pitch black. She feels the distinct sensation of someone reaching right beside her head, going for the tablet on her nightstand. For a split second, she assumes, oh, it's just my daughter Coco. And then the blood-freezing realization hits her. There is a grown man standing inside her bedroom. This is where pure, unfiltered maternal instinct kicks in. She screams at the top of her lungs and actually lunges at the intruder, who already has Coco's iPhone in his hand. They are fiercely struggling in the dark, and they both crash right on top of her daughter, who is still somehow asleep. Zama manages to literally shove this man out of the bedroom and into the living room, grabbing pots and pans from the kitchen and violently throwing them at him until he finally scrambles out. So how on earth did he get inside a locked second-floor unit? It was terrifyingly methodical. First, he scaled the exterior rails of the second-floor balcony. Second, because Zama assumed a second-floor window was safe and left it unlocked, he squeezed his skinny frame right through the metal burglar guards of the bathroom window. And third, and this is so calculated, once he got inside, he immediately unlocked the front door from the inside so he'd have a quick escape route if things went sideways.
Part 4. Lingering Trauma and Mysteries.
Surviving the initial terror is really only part of the story. The psychological scars completely rewrite how victims interact with everyday spaces. The aftermath for Zama is just heartbreaking. Despite her screaming for her life, her neighbors later admitted they heard the whole struggle, but not a single one came to help. Zama managed to cancel her Apple Pay cards just in time, but the trauma was simply too much. She and Coco moved out of the apartment entirely. Now, interestingly, police uncovered a massive, neighborhood-wide robbery ring hitting that exact night, and Zama was the only victim who actually woke up. 2 days later, a local thief was found dead. Was it the man who broke into her home? Zama doesn't know, and frankly, she says she doesn't care. So I want to leave you with this to chew on. If a stalker waiting silently in the winter fog, a creepy stranger in a brightly lit department store, and a highly calculated intruder in a locked second-floor apartment can so thoroughly shatter our reality, just how safe are our everyday spaces? It really goes to show that the most terrifying threats don't hide in haunted houses or horror movies. They hide right in the mundane, completely ordinary routines of our daily lives. Thanks for exploring this with me today. Stay curious and definitely